PM CARES approves funds for installation of 551 medical oxygen plants at government hospitals and district headquarters throughout the country. Prime Minister asks for completion of these plants as soon as possible. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges countrymen not to panic in the second wave of COVID-19 and only heed expert advice. In his monthly Mann Ki Baat telecast, PM appeals for all eligible persons to get themselves vaccinated. Lockdown extended in national capital Delhi till the 3rd of May. Delhi government says the rate of infection drops but still surge in cases reported, while Delhi police makes green corridor to supply oxygen to hospitals. Centre announces a substantial increase in overall production and allotment of Remdesivir to all states. Maharashtra gets the maximum quota of 4,35,000 vials. Hello and welcome. You're watching DD India with me, Munmin Paracharya. This is the news. Let's get started with the lead story. PM CARES Fund has given in principle approval for allocation of funds for installation of 551 dedicated pressure swing absorption medical oxygen generation plants inside public health facilities in the country. The approval has been given in line with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's direction of boosting availability of oxygen to hospitals. The Prime Minister has directed that these plants should be made functional as soon as possible. These dedicated plants will be established in identified government hospitals, in district headquarters in various states and union territories. The procurement will be done through the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The PM CARES Fund had earlier this year allocated 201.58 crore rupees, in fact, for installation of additional 162 dedicated pressure swing absorption medical oxygen generation plants. Such an in-house captive oxygen generation facility will address the day-to-day medical oxygen needs of these hospitals and the district. In addition, the liquid medical oxygen would serve as a top-up to the captive oxygen generation. Union Home Minister Amit Shah in a tweet has termed this as a big decision to curb the oxygen crisis and help the people in need. He thanked PM Narendra Modi for allocating funds to install 551 PSA oxygen generation plants in public health facilities across the country through PM CARES. In his 76th episode of the monthly radio broadcast Mann Ki Baat, Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave insights of his long deliberations with experts from myriad sectors. He informed that those connected with oxygen production have put forth their valuable suggestions to the government. Prime Minister also assured that the Government of India is applying its entire might to give a fillip to the endeavours of state governments.
बीते दिनों इस संकट से निपटने के लिए मेरी अलग-अलग सेक्टर्स के एक्सपर्ट्स के साथ, विशेषज्ञों के साथ लंबी चर्चा हुई है। हमारी फार्मा इंडस्ट्री के लोग हों, वैक्सीन मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हों, ऑक्सीजन के प्रोडक्शन से जुड़े लोग हों या फिर मेडिकल फील्ड के जानकार, उन्होंने अपने महत्वपूर्ण सुझाव सरकार को दिए हैं। इस समय हमें इस लड़ाई को जीतने के लिए एक्सपर्ट्स और वैज्ञानिक सलाह को प्राथमिकता देनी है। राज्य सरकार के प्रयत्नों को आगे बढ़ाने में भारत सरकार पूरी शक्ति से जुटी हुई है। राज्य सरकारें भी अपना दायित्व निभाने की पूरी कोशिश कर रही हैं।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also appealed to countrymen not to get swayed by any rumours on COVID vaccines and pointed out that from 1st May onwards, the vaccine is going to be made available for every person above 18 years in the country. In another appeal, Prime Minister asked states to extend the benefit of free vaccine drive of the centre to maximum number of people of their state.
कोरोना की इस संकट काल में वैक्सीन की अहमियत सभी को पता चल रही है। इसलिए मेरा आग्रह है कि कि वैक्सीन को लेकर किसी भी अफवाह में न आए। आप सभी को मालूम भी होगा कि भारत सरकार की तरफ से सभी राज्य सरकारों को फ्री वैक्सीन भेजी गई है, जिसका लाभ 45 साल की उम्र के ऊपर के लोग ले सकते हैं। अब तो 1 मई से देश में 18 साल के ऊपर के हर व्यक्ति के लिए वैक्सीन उपलब्ध होने वाली है। अब देश का कॉरपोरेट सेक्टर, कंपनियां भी अपने कर्मचारियों को वैक्सीन लगाने के अभियान में भागीदारी निभा पाएगी। मुझे ये भी कहना है कि भारत सरकार की तरफ से मुफ्त वैक्सीन का जो कार्यक्रम अभी चल रहा है वो आगे भी चलता रहेगा। मेरा राज्यों से भी आग्रह है कि वो भारत सरकार के इस मुफ्त वैक्सीन अभियान का लाभ अपने राज्य के ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों तक पहुंचाएं।
Concluding his message, the Prime Minister lauded the efforts of the citizens and appreciated the zeal with which they are serving their fellow citizens who are in dire need of assistance. He said that this time a new awareness is also being seen in villages. He also said that whatever efforts are being made are of great service to the society.
देश के अलग अलग कोने में इस चुनौतीपूर्ण समय में भी स्वयंसेवी संगठन आगे आकर दूसरों की मदद के लिए जो भी कर सकते हैं वो करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। इस बार गांवों में भी नई जागरूकता देखी जा रही है। कोविड नियमों का सख्ती से पालन करते हुए लोग अपने गांव की कोरोना से रक्षा कर रहे हैं। जो लोग बाहर से आ रहे हैं उनके लिए सही व्यवस्थाएं भी बनाई जा रही हैं। शहरों में भी कई नौजवान सामने आए हैं जो अपने क्षेत्र में कोरोना के केस न बढ़े इसके लिए स्थानीय निवासियों के साथ मिलकर प्रयास कर रहे हैं। यानी एक तरफ देश दिन रात अस्पतालों, वेंटिलेटर्स और दवाइयों के लिए काम कर रहा है, तो दूसरी ओर देशवासी भी जी जान से कोरोना की चुनौती का मुकाबला कर रहे हैं। आज हमारी सबसे बड़ी प्राथमिकता है इस बीमारी को हराना।
The Delhi government today announced that the lockdown in the national capital would be extended to next Monday till 5 a.m. in view of the rising number of coronavirus cases. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal said that the rate of infection has come down in the national capital, but there are still too many cases, so the lockdown needs to be extended. The Delhi police is playing a crucial role in escorting oxygen tankers to hospitals in Delhi. Here is an image tweeted by the Union Home Ministry which shows that tanker number GJ063520 coming from Panipat via Singhu border going to ESI Hospital Basai Darapur and Marana Agrasen Hospital in Punjabi Bagh was provided green corridor by Delhi police for fast and efficient medical oxygen supply. The centre has advised states and union territories to register additional private COVID vaccination centres in mission mode for the third phase of vaccination, which will commence from the 1st of May. It has asked them to engage with private hospitals, hospitals of industrial establishments and industry associations. The states have been asked to monitor the number of hospitals that have procured vaccines and have declared stocks and prices on COWIN. They have been asked to publicise about the facility of only online registration for the 18 to 45 age group. States were advised to coordinate with law and order authorities for effective crowd management at COVID vaccination centres. The COVID-19 vaccination drive is going smoothly in the country. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare have reported more than 25,36,000 vaccinations during the last 24 hours. The ministry has informed that so far more than 14 crore 9 lakh COVID vaccines have been administered in the country. The centre has substantially increased the allotment of antiviral drug remdesivir to all states. Maximum 4,35,000 vials have been allotted to Maharashtra, followed by 1,65,000 to Gujarat, 1,61,000 to UP and 1,22,000 to Karnataka. Delhi has been allotted 72,000 vials, while 75,000 vials have been provided to Chhattisgarh and 95,000 to Madhya Pradesh. This allocation is till the 30th of this month. Bharat Biotech has announced the price of Covaxin for state governments and private hospitals. It will cost 600 rupees per dose for state governments and 1200 rupees per dose for private hospitals. The price of the vaccine for export is going to be in the range of $15 to $20. The Jammu and Kashmir government will provide COVID-19 vaccine free of cost to all above 18 years of age. Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha said that the Union Territory Administration will bear the cost of vaccine procurement from the manufacturer. The decision to this effect was taken at a high-level meeting chaired by the Lieutenant Governor in Jammu yesterday. Mr. Sinha expressed gratitude to the Prime Minister for announcing a liberalized vaccine policy, making all above 18 years of age eligible for inoculation from the 1st of May. The LG asked concerned officials to constitute a vaccine logistics team for ensuring hassle-free procurement and availability of COVID-19 vaccines in the Union Territory. COVID-19 cases continue to increase throughout the country. In the last 24 hours, more than 3,49,000 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported. In the last 24 hours, more than 2,17,000 patients have recovered from the infection. At present, the total number of active COVID-19 patients in the country are 26,82,751. In the last 24 hours, 2,767 patients have died of COVID-19 across the country, taking the death toll to 1,92,311. The COVID mortality rate has come down to 1.13%. According to the Indian Council of Medical Research, as many as 27 crore 79 lakh 18,810 samples have been tested across the country so far. Out of this, 17 lakh 19,588 samples were tested yesterday. As COVID cases surge in the national capital, Delhi police personnel are performing tasks like arranging oxygen for hospitals on distress calls. Delhi police has taken an initiative to facilitate plasma therapy for needy patients by setting up a digital data bank of plasma donors. Named Jeevan Rakshak or Savior of Life, this initiative is to create a digital data bank interface between plasma donors and needy recipients after due authentication. All the data bank of donors and recipients will be maintained centrally by Delhi police. Further, a dedicated team will be deputed to check out the requests received for plasma recipients, and on availability of the suitable donor, the information about the recipient and the donor will be shared among them. This initiative will help in facilitating timely plasma therapy for the recipients, thus saving precious lives. On the first Sunday of complete lockdown during the COVID-19 second wave, people largely chose to remain indoors in Tamil Nadu. Arterial roads across the state witnessed little vehicular movement. Only food delivery agents and sanitization workers of the city corporation were seen plying on roads. Tamil Nadu decided to impose complete lockdown on Sunday, with some exceptions to curtail the rapid spread of coronavirus in the state. The second wave of coronavirus pandemic has hit India the hardest, leaving the nation gasping for life-saving oxygen. A major challenge for India is not just the production of oxygen, but also to store and transport it to various states. Delhi, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and others worst affected by the crisis. To combat this, New Delhi has reached out to various countries to procure containers and oxygen cylinders to meet the growing demand of oxygen across the country under Operation Oxygen Maitri. In this connection, the Adani Group on Tuesday wrote a letter of interest to MS Linde Dammam in Saudi Arabia to procure oxygen cylinders. Indian missions in the UAE and Singapore are in touch with concerned authorities and manufacturers to procure the containers. In a tweet, Embassy of India and Saudi Arabia said, and I quote, Embassy of India is proud to partner with Adani Group and MS Linde in shipping much needed 80 metric tons liquid oxygen to India. A heartfelt thanks to Ministry of Health, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for all their help, support and cooperation. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken in a tweet said that our hearts go out to the Indian people in the midst of the horrific COVID-19 outbreak. We are working closely with our partners in the Indian government and we will rapidly deploy additional support to the people of India and India's healthcare heroes. White House, the national security officer to the President of United States, Jake Sullivan, in a tweet has said that the US is deeply concerned by the severe COVID outbreak in India. We are working around the clock to deploy more supplies and support to our friends and partners in India as they bravely battle this pandemic. More very soon. Back home, West Bengal will go to the polls tomorrow for the 7th phase. 34 assembly seats will go to the polls tomorrow. 9 assembly seats each in Murshidabad, West Bardhaman districts, 6 assembly seats each in Dakshin Dinajpur and Malda districts, and 4 assembly seats in Kolkata will be polling tomorrow. Polling in 12,068 polling stations for the 7th phase will commence from 7 a.m. and continue till 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. Meanwhile, campaigning for the 8th phase of West Bengal polls is at its peak. BJP President JP Nadda addressed the voters of Manikchak Assembly seat virtually, where he said that the people of Bengal will fearlessly vote against the state government's autocracy.
वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं को डराने का, धमकाने का, उनको चुनाव में गतिविधि न करें इसका धमकाना, अब ये काम टीएमसी ने पकड़ लिया है और टीएमसी के गुंडों ने पकड़ लिया। मैं बड़े साफ शब्दों में कहना चाहता हूं कि जहां तक बंगाल की जनता है, ममता जी वो अब डरने वाली नहीं है। वो आपके तानाशाही से निजात चाहती है, छुटकारा चाहती है और आने वाले समय में 7वें और 8वें फेज में भी वो इस बात का निर्णायक लड़ाई लड़ेगी। आपके डराने से डरने वाली नहीं है, वो आगे बढ़ेगी और कमल के निशान पर वो अपना मत देगी।
Mahavir Jayanti, the birth anniversary of 24th and last Jain Tirthankar Bhagwan Mahavir, is being celebrated across the country today. Mahavir Jayanti is considered to be one of the most auspicious events for the Jain community and holds a lot of importance in their religious life. President Ramnath Kovind has extended heartfelt greetings to all countrymen. In a tweet, he said, and I quote, "Heartfelt greetings to all countrymen, especially the Jain community, on Mahavir Jayanti. Lord Mahavir showed humanity a new path through the ideals of Ahimsa Paramo Dharam and live and let live. Let us all follow his teachings and pledge to defeat COVID-19 on the basis of collective discipline." Prime Minister Narendra Modi also took to Twitter and extended greetings on the occasion. In a tweet, he said, and I quote, "The life message of Lord Mahavir teaches us peace and self-control when all the people of our country are fighting together this crisis of Corona on Mahavir Jayanti. I pray to Lord Mahavir to keep everyone healthy and bless our efforts with success." Home Minister Amit Shah has greeted everyone on the occasion of Mahavir Jayanti today, describing Lord Mahavir as the eternal symbol of renunciation, tenacity, truth and non-violence. In a tweet, he said, and I quote, "Best wishes on Mahavir Jayanti. Lord Mahavir Ji, the eternal symbol of renunciation, tenacity, truth and non-violence, paved the way for the welfare of the entire human race with his education full of karma primacy. His life and his thoughts will always guide us." The 19th edition of the Indian and French Navy bilateral exercise Varun 2021 is expected to be conducted in the Arabian Sea from the 25th to 27th of April 2021. From the Indian Navy's side, guided missile stealth destroyer Kolkata, guided missile frigates Tarkash and Talwar, fleet support ship Deepak with Sea-King 42B and Chetak integral helicopters, a Kalvari class submarine and P-8I long-range maritime patrol aircraft will participate in the exercise. The French Navy will be represented by the aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle with Rafale M fighter, E-2C Hawk-Eye aircraft and helicopters Cayman M and Dauphin embarked, Horizon class air defense destroyer Chevalier Paul, Aquitaine class multi-missions frigate Provence with a Cayman M helicopter embarked and command and supply ship Var. The Indian side will be led by Rear Admiral Ajay Kochar, flag officer commanding Western Fleet, while the French side will be led by Rear Admiral Marc Ossedat, commander Task Force 473. The three-day exercise will see high-tempo naval operations at sea, including advanced air defense and anti-submarine exercises, intense fixed and rotary wing flying operations, tactical maneuvers, surface and anti-air weapon firings underway, replenishment and other maritime security operations. Some 350 protesters opposed to stricter coronavirus rules took to the streets of Frankfurt on Saturday night, denouncing curfews imposed in areas with high infection rates. The mostly young demonstrators gathered in the center of Germany's financial capital and carried banners reading "The virus does not go on walks at night, it goes to work during the day." In Berlin, both chambers of parliament approved the amendments to the so-called Infection Protection Act earlier this week to give the federal government more powers to fight the third wave of the pandemic. The new law enables the government to impose curfews between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. in areas where the virus incidence exceeds 100 cases per 1 lakh residents for 3 days in a row. Chancellor Angela Merkel drew up the law after some of the 16 federal states refused to implement tougher measures despite a surge in COVID-19 cases and in defiance of a lockdown agreement reached in March. Several thousand anti-lockdown demonstrators marched through central London on Saturday despite restrictions on mass gatherings during the COVID-19 pandemic. The event was billed by organizers as Unite for Freedom. Protesters chanted "Freedom" and "Take off your mask," and some carried placards saying "No to vaccine passports" and "Lockdowns kill." Most were unmasked. The protesters view COVID-19 restrictions as unnecessary and a breach of their human rights. They oppose vaccinations, mask wearing and so-called health passports. England has relaxed its lockdown restrictions in recent weeks. Non-essential shops and outdoor hospitality reopened on 12th April, but indoor gatherings are still banned until the 17th of May at the earliest. After a long year of lockdown due to the coronavirus, seniors of Mexico City were finally able to get back on their feet on Saturday and dance in public parks. Seniors who have received their first dose of COVID-19 vaccine returned to their dancing lessons and moved their bodies to the rhythm of danzón, a dance style of Cuban origin. Mexico began vaccinations late last year and has so far fully inoculated nearly 4 million people, most of whom are adults over 60, out of a total population of 126 million. In the United States, a severe storm flipped over mobile homes, uprooted trees and damaged property across southern Alabama early Saturday. Strong winds and rain tore through the state. Severe storms struck the central and southern United States on Friday, spawning at least one confirmed tornado in Texas and several reports of baseball-sized hail or larger. This same storm system will track east, bringing similar hazards to over 20 million people across the southeast Saturday afternoon. An enhanced risk of severe weather, level 3 out of 5, has been issued by the National Weather Service's Storm Prediction Center. The area under enhanced risk stretches across portions of Alabama, Georgia and Florida. It includes the cities of Savannah, Georgia and Tallahassee, Florida. Myanmar's junta chief Min Aung Hlaing flew to Jakarta to join a special summit with Southeast Asian nation leaders on Saturday in one of the first coordinated international efforts to ease the crisis in the country. ASEAN leaders wanted a commitment from Min Aung Hlaing to restrain his security forces, who an activist monitoring group says have killed 745 people since a mass civil disobedience movement erupted to challenge his 1st February coup. They had also wanted the release of political prisoners. Later on Saturday, ASEAN leaders said they had agreed on a plan with Min Aung Hlaing to end the crisis in the violence-hit nation, but he did not explicitly respond to demands to halt the killing of civilian protesters. It was unusual for the leader of a military government in Myanmar to attend an ASEAN summit. Indonesian searchers have recovered debris believed to be from the missing submarine lost in the Bali Sea, officials said on Saturday, as hopes dwindle for the 53 crew, which are expected to have run out of oxygen at dawn. Indonesian Navy Chief of Staff Yudo Margono said that a scan had detected 850 meters below the 44-year-old NRI KRI Nanggala 402 submarine, which lost contact on Wednesday as it prepared to conduct a torpedo drill. But he said the search would continue since debris had been found. In Iraq, at least 27 people were killed and 46 injured in a fire on Saturday at a hospital in southeastern province of Baghdad that had been equipped to house COVID-19 patients. The fire at an Ibn Khatib hospital near the Iraqi capital occurred after an accident caused an oxygen tank to explode. Soon after, a dozen ambulances were rushing towards the hospital, ferrying away those hurt by the fire. Patients not injured in the incident were also being transferred out of the hospital. The head of Iraqi Civil Defense Unit said that the fire broke out in the floor designated for the pulmonary intensive care unit, and 90 people have been rescued from the hospital out of 120. That's it then in this edition of the news. Thanks for watching.